Hello students, myself Suraj Singh and today I am going to discuss with you the question and answer of Chief Seattle's speech. I taught you this story yesterday and I hope that you could have understood it quite properly. And so I am going to discuss the answers of the questions. Please open out your reader book, means textbook. What is? Please open out your workbook and textbook also so that you can understand the extract quite clearly and try to write the answer in your words also. Open out a book and put a finger where I am reading. So the very first extract is: Yonder sky that has wept tears of compassion upon my people. In this line, the speaker, that is Chief Seattle, has used personification. Personification is a figure of speech which in which a speaker uses a particular device, and this device is non-living things are addressed as the living beings. Because here the speaker says, yonder sky, distant sky, the sky which is very far, has wept. Now the sky cannot weep, but the writer says, that's why personification is here. Yonder sky, distant sky, has wept tears of compassion. Yonder sky has wept and shed a lot of tears upon my people, showing mercy on the people of Chief Seattle. For centuries untold, means for a long time the sky has wept for the people of Chief Seattle, and which to us appears changeless and eternal. Here the speaker says, Chief Seattle says that sometime the thing which seems to us changeless and eternal, permanent, may change, but that particular thing can change. Today is fair. The writer says that today weather is pleasant, but tomorrow it may be overcast with clouds. But tomorrow it can be It can be covered with clouds. Means the weather can be cloud. My words are like the stars that never change. But he says that whatever he is saying, whatever Chief Seattle is saying, that is like each of his words are like the stars that never change, the stars which never change their position. Whatever Seattle says, he says further, that whatever he says, the great chief at Washington can rely upon with as much certainty as he can upon the return of the sun or the seasons. The writer says, speaker says, whatever he is saying, great chief at Washington, means the president, can have faith upon with as much surety as he has the surety of rising of the sun and the changing of seasons. The white chief says, the big chief at Washington sends us greeting of friendship and goodwill. So the big chief says, the governor says that white chief means the white chief says that the big chief, that is president at Washington, had sent them means Chief Seattle and his public, the greetings of friendship and goodwill. He says that he has offered his friendship for them. Now we are coming to the questions. Now the first question is, who speaks these words? Meaning is, you are to tell the name of the speaker, give the meaning of, and then you are to tell the meaning of the given sentence. yonder sky that has wept tears of compassion upon my people for centuries untold. So, who is the speaker of these lines? The speaker is Chief Seattle. Who is the speaker? Chief Seattle is the speaker. Should write in complete words. And the meaning is, as I told you while telling the explanation, that a distant sky has wept, has shed a lot of tears, having mercy on the people of Chief Seattle for a long time. Could you understand it? Okay. Now, question number second is, why does the speaker say, tomorrow it may be overcast with clouds? What does the speaker say? Who is the speaker? Speaker is Chief Seattle. So, question is, why does the Chief Seattle say, tomorrow it may be overcast with clouds? He says that today, he says so because he is satisfied with the weather of today. It is quite pleasant, but tomorrow it may be overcast, means tomorrow it can be cloudy. Meaning is that everything in the nature changes. He wants to see what will be its effect on people. Means situations can be different with the people of Chief Seattle. So Chief Seattle says that it can be, means if situation changes, then it can be a negative effect on the people of Chief Seattle. Question number third is, who is referred to as the great chief at Washington? So question is, who is the great chief at Washington? You are to tell the name, and right in place of who only write the correct name. I will not tell. You will have to write yourself. Go through the textbook and write the name. Write the name of who, means in place of who, write the name of the man, and then the whole answer will be that particular man is referred to as the great chief at Washington. What has the great chief done to Seattle and his people? Question is, what has he done to Seattle and his people? He has offered a friendship. He has presented or sent the what is an offer of friendship and brotherhood, you can say, for Seattle and his people. Understood? How much are Seattle's birds reliable as far as the great chief is concerned? Reliable means trustworthy. So, question is, how much are Seattle's birds reliable as far as great chief is concerned? जहाँ तक ग्रेट चीफ का संबंध है वहाँ तक इस सिएटल के संबंध कितने विश्वसनीय हैं, इस बात का जवाब देना है. So answer will be Seattle's words are quite reliable because the situation that time was same as this man Seattle was telling his people. What does it tell us about Seattle's character? It tells us that Seattle was a caring person, and he caring person for his people. He loved his people as a father loves his sons. Could you understand it? Seattle's words are quite reliable as far as the great chief is concerned because situation in the country in America was like that. So we can say that his words are quite reliable, quite trustworthy. What does it tell us about Seattle's character? That he was a man of trust. He could be trusted. He loved his people like a father loves his sons. Next question is, briefly state the reaction of the Chief Seattles to the greeting sent by the big chief at Washington. Who is the big chief? So we are to tell the reaction of Chief Seattle. What was the reaction of Chief Seattle to the greeting sent by? Means whatever the greetings, means whatever the offer was sent by the big chief at Washington. At this offer, how this Chief Seattle reacted. means he was worried for the future of his people. But still, he thought that it would not be a business of loss because the number of red Indian people was reducing, and he found that there was no good in fighting and quarreling with the people, the big chief at Washington. That's why he decided to have a compromise with these people, with the white people, and who is the big chief. Again, you should write your own. Just go through the book and try to find out who the big chief is. Then, now second extract is his people are many. Whose people are many? The people of white chief are many. They are more in number. They are like the grass that covers vast prairies. And the writer, the speaker, that is Chief Seattle, has compared the public, the common people of white chief with the grass that is spread there in the prairies. Prairies means grassland. Prairies means a grassland. Now, my people are few. He says that his own people are very less in number. They resemble the scattering trees of a storm-swept plain. They resemble means look like. They look like the scattering trees, the trees which have been scattered because of storm. Suppose there was a storm in a plain. After the storm, the trees scattered there. So the chief seater says that his own people, they means his own people, chief seater's people look like the trees which have been scattered there in the storm. The great and I presume good white chief sends us word that he wishes to buy our land. The great means he says for white chief he says the great the great white chief and good also good white chief means both the adjectives have been used for this white chief has sent us means the people of white means chief seater has sent us a message that he wishes he desires to buy our land. He wishes to buy our land. Our land means the native land of red Indian, but is willing to allow us enough to live comfortably. Although he wishes to buy our land, he says, but he means the white chief wishes wishes to allow us to means enough means we can live there as much as we want. This indeed appears just, even generous, and indeed in reality appears seems just, full of justice, generous, kind. Chief Seattle says this really seems a, a kind and full of justice offer. For the red man no longer has rights that he need respect. He says because the red man does not have the right that he needs respect. The offer may be wise also, and there is a wisdom, there is a sense of wisdom also in this offer, as we are no longer in need of an extensive country. He says that this offer is kind, just, and wise also, because the people of Chief Seattle are very less in number, and they do not need a big land to live. That's why he says that wisdom is to accept the offer sent by the white chief. Now questions are, then children, first question is, compare the number of chief settlers people with that of the white chief. हमें भी बताना है कि चीफ सीटल के जो पीपल थे और वाइट चीफ के जो पीपल थे उनकी तुलना करनी है. सो चीफ सीटल्स पीपल वर लेस. दे हैव बीन कंपेयर्ड विद द ट्रीज विच हैव बीन स्कैटर्ड बिकॉज ऑफ अ स्टॉर्म. उनकी तुलना की गई है उन पेड़ों से जो कि तूफान के आने पर स्कैटर्ड हो जाते हैं. एंड दैट ऑफ वाइट चीफ, और वाइट चीफ के जो पीपल हैं, द पीपल ऑफ वाइट चीफ आर लाइक द ग्रास ऑफ प्रेरीज. एज द प्रेरीज, द ग्रास लैंड is filled with the grass, in the same manner the people of white chief are spread there in the whole of the country. How does the narrator illustrate this fact? Yes, he gives the example of a prairie grass, and he gives the example of a storm swept plain. Now question number 2 is, what message does the white chief send to the native people? The white chief sends the message to the native people that they must be ready for the land settlement. Land settlement treaty means they must put the signature, the chief settler must put the signature on the land settlement treaty. Meaning is that white chief wants to buy their land because they are less in number and they do not need such a big piece of land, and that's why he just offers to buy their land. Next one is, a little later, how does Seattle describe his people were numerous once upon a time? Chief Seattle says that there was a time when people hovered the land as waves of a wind ruffled sea covers its shale paved floor. Listen, the meaning of the question is, how does Chief Seattle try to prove that, how does the Chief Seattle try to prove that once upon a time the number of his people, the number of Chief Seattle's people was a big one? He gives the example of, answer is, the Chief Seattle gives the example that once the people of his country, the people of Chief Seattle, hovered means covered the whole of the land like the wind ruffled sea, a sea where the waves have been there, and these waves just show the what is shale paved floor, means stony floor of the place. Question number 3 is, state the message sent by the white chief to the native people. How does, means there are two parts in the question. Firstly, the message sent by white chief to the native people. Second is, how did native react to the message? Then we are to tell, the white chief sent a word. White chief sent a message to the native people that he wants to buy their land because they are less in number, because the Red Indians are less in number. That's why they do not need such a big land, and it was a kind offer, it was a just offer, it was a wise offer also according to chief Settle. But so this was the message by the white chief to the native people. How did the what is how did what natives react to the message? The natives means thought that this was a wise offer. The natives means the old people of Chief Seattle's old people thought that it was an offer which was kind, full means kind, just, and wise. Because in taking revenge, in fighting, quarreling, there is no sense. And generally, youth, he says, youth is impulsive. Youth are youth have the feeling to fight, to take revenge. But the old people, the wise people, believe that taking revenge is a kind of wild justice in which people generally lose their lives. Old people and mothers generally have to suffer because they have to lose their sons, their brothers, and means etc. So meaning is the reaction of the native people was to accept this offer because they thought that it was a kind, just, and wise offer. Fifth question is, what happened when the white men began to push the natives westward? Means what happened जब वाइट मैन ने नेटिव्स को नेटिव मीन्स रेड इंडियंस को वेस्ट वर्ड में पश्चिम साइड में पुश किया तो क्या हुआ? क्वेश्चन इज कुड यू अंडरस्टैंड द मीनिंग? व्हाट हैपेंड व्हेन द वाइट मैन स्टार्ट पुशिंग द नेटिव अमेरिकन्स द रेड इंडियंस टुवर्ड्स द वेस्ट वर्ड? Should the native people take revenge on the white man? Why? Meaning the question is, the young red Indians turned and indulged in revengeful. The young people that time, the young native people of America that time thought that they should take revenge. They started involving themselves in the activities full of revenge. Should the native people take revenge? According to Chief Settle, they should not take revenge on the white man because taking revenge is a kind of wild justice. It is a justice, but it is full of wildness because taking revenge, one can lose one's own life also. And if one loses one's own life, that his family, then his family members have to suffer. Old people, mothers, wives, sisters, young children have to suffer. That's why he says that taking revenge should not be there. Now, children, in the third extract, the speaker, that is Chief Settle, says, "Our godfather in Washington, for I presume he is now our father as well as yours." He says, our good father, it is not God, it is good father in Washington, that is George Washington. I presume, I think, he is now our father and he is your father also. Means he says that good father in Washington, that is George Washington. He says he is his father and he is their father also, because King George has moved his boundaries further north. He says because King George has moved his boundaries further north, towards north, not out great and good father. I say, sends us word that great and good father has sent us the message that if we do as he desires, meaning is if Chief Seattle and his people follow his instruction, do what he wishes, what George Washington wishes, he will protect us. Then he says, he will protect us means these people, Chief Seattle's people. His brave warrior will be to us a bristling wall of strength. He says that his brave warriors will protect them like a wall, like a strong wall, and his wonderful ships of war will fill our harbors. And he says that his means magnificent, grand ships of war will fill our harbors. It means his ships will be there on our harbors when there is any danger, so that our ancient enemies means we can get help, this help from the brave warriors and from the ships, so that our ancient enemies far to the northward. So he says that if by the way and the enemies, his enemies, they are in the northward, like the Hedas and Shimeon's children, T is silent here. We will not pronounce T. It means two tribes were there, Hedas and Shimeons. These two tribes were the enemies of the Red Indian, the native people of America. So he says that we means these white chief and his people will not have any danger from Hedas and Shimeons if they accept the offer which has been presented by white chief. Will cease to frighten our means women, children, and old men. This Chief Seattle says that these two tribes, the people of these two tribes will stop, siege means stop, to frighten our women, children, and old men. They will not have the courage. The people of these two tribes will not have the courage to frighten the women and children and old men of Chief Seattle and his people. Now the question is, who is referred to as our father in Washington? I told you in previous question also, in place of who, write the correct name and you will get the answer. George Washington. Who is the man? George Washington is referred to as our father in Washington. Since when he has become our father and your father? Since when means कब से? George Washington, he means he refers to George Washington. George Washington has become our father and your father since King George has moved boundaries towards north. Could you understand it? Okay. Now the next question is, under what condition is the good father going to protect the native people? Question is, what is the condition under which good father means the white chief is going to help to protect the native people? Only answer is that if the native people of America accept the offer presented by the white chief. Simple answer is, could you understand? If the native people accept the offer presented by the white chief, and the offer was to sell their land, if the native people are ready to sell their land to white chief, then this means then the good father will protect the native people. What is meant by bristling wall of strength? Simple meaning is protection of the native people. Means meaning is, answer is, if the native people of America sell their land to the white people, the white chief, then he will provide he will provide them the protection, with their warriors. And these warriors of white people will protect the native people from the Heddas and Shimians. And their ships, the ships of white people, will fill the harbor and provide protection to the native people. Only the condition is to accept the offer presented by the white chief. Who are Heddas and Shimians? These are the two tribes. Answer is Heddas and Shimians. T is silent. Be very means careful, children. T is silent here. It is called Shimians. Heddas and Shimians are the two tribes there in North America. How will they cease to frighten the natives? Means they will siege. Siege means stop. To frighten the natives. Because when they accept the offer of the white chief, then the white chief's brave soldiers will provide strength as their protection, as the protection of the native people. And his ships, the ships of white people, will fill the harbor. Means soldiers and ships will provide protection to the native people if they accept the offer presented by the white chief. How does Chief Seattle prove that the white man's God is not the God of the natives? Simple. Your question is quite simple. Answer is Chief Seattle tells that the white man's God is not the God of natives, because if he is the God, he should not have done the partiality, but he seems to have done the partiality between the white people and the natives. He says, the God of the white man's God loves the white man only, not the natives, because there has been done a lot of partiality. They have suffered, the natives have suffered a lot there in their own land. They have been done injustice by the white people. The white people forced the natives to shift northward. So he said, Chief Seattle said, if the God had been there, he could have helped the natives when they were being pushed by the white man. It means he just proves that the white man's God does not love the natives. Next question is, a little earlier, Chief Seattle exclaimed, youth is impulsive. Why does he say that? He says that, could you understand the question? A little earlier means before some time, Chief Seattle says youth is impulsive. Impulsive means one who takes a decision because of one's impulses. He says, Chief Seattle says the youth is impulsive. Young people are swayed by their emotions. They decide being emotional. Why does he say that? Because he says that young people are full of revenge when anything wrong, whether it is imaginary or it is real, when anything is wrong done to them, they at once decide to take revenge. And that is because of their impulse, their nature. What does it reflect about his character? It reflects means shows. It shows that this man, this Chief Seattle, does not wish to take revenge, because he thinks taking revenge is a kind of wild justice. Means it can be called justice, but there is wildness. It means tit for tat. Feeling is hidden there. And means he says, according to Chief Settle, forgiveness is better than taking revenge. He just has the what what is he just has a deep feeling for peace, love, and harmony. He just wants that there should be no justice, no fight, no quarrel, no ill will, only peace should be there. That's why he does not wish that the young people, the young generation, should take revenge uh, on the white people. Could you understand? Okay. Now the next extract is in the next extract, children. That is extract number 4. The chief seater says, "Our God, the Great Spirit." He says, the God of Chief Seattle and his people is the Great Spirit only. Seems also to have forsaken us. He says that his own God, their own God, has also forgotten or left them. Them means the people of Chief Seattle. Your God makes your people wax together every day. He says the God of white people makes his people spread like a melting wax. Means the God of the white people has made them or has made them to spread like the melting wax. Like soon they will fill all the land, and he just guesses. White chief means this chief Seattle guesses very soon the white people will fill the whole land, the whole country. Our people are ebbing away like a rapidly receding tide. He says that his own people, the red Indian people, are reducing in number. The native people of America are reducing quickly, very fast. That will never return, and these people will never come back. The white man's God cannot love our people. He says that a white man's God, the God of white man, cannot love his people, his own people. His own people means people of Chief Seattle. He would protect them. He says that he would protect them. He means the God of white people would protect them means the white people. They seem to be orphans, but the people of Chief Seattle seem to be orphans. Orphans means parentless. A child who does not have the parents is called orphan, anath, who can look nowhere for help. And the people of Chief Seattle cannot look anywhere to get help. How then can we be brothers? Then he asks a question, how it is possible for the natives and for the white people to be brothers? How can your God become our God? He says that means he just in a manner of a question he says that his God means the God of the white people cannot become the God of Chief Seattle and his people, and renew our prosperity and awaken in us dreams of returning greatness. And he says that the God of white people cannot generate prosperity and create the dreams of achieving greatness. Question is, who is referred to as the God of the natives? Again, the question which begin with who. Children, you will have to write the name of that particular fellow and get the whole answer from the sentence, from the question only. Who is referred? The Great Spirit is referred to as the God of the natives. Only this much is the answer. Why does he seem to have forgotten them? Because Chief Seater says, because he, the God of white people, loves the white people only. If and has forgotten the native people of America. If he is the father of both the people, the natives and the white people, then he must have done the partiality with the natives. Why are the natives compared to the receding tide and are called orphans? Question is, why are the natives compared? Natives की तुलना क्यों की गई है? To the receding tide means एक टाइड से क्यों तुलना की गई है उसकी? मतलब ज्वार भाटा in Hindi it is called. Tide means ज्वार भाटा means why have the natives of means America have been compared with the tide, receding tide, और उनको ऑर्फन क्यों कहा गया है, अनाथ क्यों कहा गया है? Simple answer is because they have got their numbers reducing, because their number is reducing. These people are, the red Indians are reducing and have come almost to a position of extinction. मतलब कि उनकी संख्या बहुत कम हो रही है, तेज़ गति से कम हो रही है और लगभग एक्सटिंक्शन की स्थिति में आ गए हैं, ख़त्म होने के कगार पर आ गए हैं. That's why the natives have been. Could you understand? I told you the meaning of the question in Hindi. Now I repeat the answer in English also. The natives are compared to the receding tide and are called orphans because their numbers, whose number? The numbers of the native people of America is reducing fast and they have come to a state of extinction. That's why it is. Third question is, why does the chief say, if there was a common father for both races, he must be partial? Meaning of the question in Hindi is कि यदि चीफ क्यों कहते हैं, चीफ सिएटल क्यों कहते हैं कि यदि दोनों ही जाति का, नेटिव्स का और मतलब कि वाइट पीपल का, दोनों ही जाति के फादर सेम हैं, गॉड फादर सेम है, गॉड सेम है, तो वो निश्चित रूप से पार्शियल रहे होंगे. मीनिंग ऑफ द क्वेश्चन इज, व्हाई डज द चीफ से दैट इफ the white people and if the native people have the same father, then the father must be a partial. Partial means one who favors one party and does injustice with another one. And answer is, he says so. The chief seater says so because he finds that the God of white people loves the white people only, and he helps the white people only, not the red Indians, not the native people, because of this partiality only, the native people of America have suffered a lot, while the white people have enjoyed a lot. And this was an injustice with the native people. Could you understand? Okay. Next question is, how does the speech of the chief show that his people were oppressed? How does the speech of the chief show? चीफ की जो स्पीच है वो कैसे ये दिखाती है दैट हिज पीपल वर ऑप्रेस्ड, कि उनके पीपल को ऑप्रेस किया गया, कुचल के रखा गया, दबा करके रखा गया. दे वर फोर्स्ड टू लिव अ मिजरेबल लाइफ. Meaning of the question is, how did the speech of Chief Seattle show that his people, the people of Chief Seattle, had to live, were forced to live an oppressed life, a miserable life, a sorrowful life? He says, means the Chief Seattle when says that it is the native, means it is the land of native people. Fundamentally, basically, it is the land of native people, and the white people were the foreigners. They came and they formed a colony there. They colonized there, and now they are willing to buy their land, their own land. Now the white people are willing to buy the land of the native people. That's why he just wants to show, Chief Seattle wants to show that his people, the people of the native people, were oppressed. They were forced to live a miserable life because they are on the verge of losing their land, their own land, for no fault of their own. Last question of the extract is, finally, at last, the chief Seattle says, we are two distinct races with separate origins. He says that we means the white people and the native people are two different, distinct means different, races. Races means you can say tribes with separate origins who originated separately and separate destinies, and who originated separately and their destinies are also separate. Question is, the chief says like this. The question is, why does he say so? Why does the chief say so? Give example to prove this statement, and we are to give the example also. Answer is, because the chief says so, because there were two tribes, two different tribes, the natives and the colonists, and because they had their different origins, that's why they had competition also. They had the feeling of competition. They contended with each other, and they fought with each other just for existence. And two examples means first example is the whites originally belonged to the Europe and came and colonized there. And secondly, they just wished to buy their own land. They means the whites made the natives, the whites forced the natives to buy their own land. They compelled them to sell their own land. So this we can say the chief says because of this only. Okay, children. In this extract, the speaker, Chief Seattle, says, your religion was written upon tablets of stone by the iron finger of your God. Your means the religion of white people. Chief Seattle says that the religion of white people was written upon the stones by the iron finger of your God. It is the biblical reference. It is the reference written in Bible. And says this man, says the Chief Seattle, that the religion of white people was written upon the tablets of stone, upon the stony floor by the iron finger of your God. It is the reference, I repeat again, it is the reference of Bible. And further says, so that you could not forget. It was done. The religion of white people was written there on the stones by the iron finger of their God, so that the white people should not forget their religion. The red man could never comprehend or remember it. The red man, the native people of America, could never understand or remember their religion because it was not written there on the tablets of stones. Our religion is the tradition of our ancestors. He says that their religions, the religions of native people, is the traditions of their ancestors. Ancestor means forefathers. The dreams of our old men, given them in solemn and silent here. It is called solemn hours of the night by the Great Spirit. He says that their religion, the religion of our native people, is the tradition of our ancestors, dreams of their old men, and it is the means it is not written on any thing. It is in the form of what emotions, feelings, and the visions of our sachems. He says that the religion of the native people is the visions of their boss and is written in the hearts of our people. It is the religion of a native people is not written on the tablets of stones. It is written there in the heart of the people. Question first is, what was the red man's religion? Simple. Red man का religion क्या था? The religion of the red man was traditions of ancestors, dreams of the old man, etc. And it was written in the hearts of the people, not there on the tablets of stones. How can you conclude that the natives are more dependent on their ancestors than the white man? How can we say that the natives are more dependent? The native means the native people of America are depend more than on their ancestors than the white man because their religion. We can say so. We can conclude that the religion of native people was written in the hearts of people. It was the religion of the native people was the means traditions of ancestors, and meaning is they just regard their ancestors more. They love their ancestors more than the white man did. What does Seattle say about the Christianity? Means what is the opinion of Seattle about this particular religion, Christianity? He says that Christianity, the religion of white people, was written on the stone by iron finger of their God, while the religion of native people was not written like this. Give 3 points of distinction between the religion of white man and that of the red man. I have means this is all about the religion of red man, and this is all about the religion of white man. The religion of red man, the red Indian, was in the form of traditions. It was like in the form of sermons. Sermons means messages given by the Christ and written in the heart. These traditions, these sermons were written in the heart of the people, not in the form of the stones, not on the stony surface. While the religion, the religion of white man, is written on the stony surface by the iron finger of God. And it is one more thing is that the follower of this religion, white people were strictly adhered to the rules and regulations. Means they were a bit more strict in following the religions, while these peoples were a bit lenient. Give the meaning of tablets of stones. Simple means stony surface. The phrase means stony surface. The phrase has been used in the extract with reference to that the religion of white people was written on the stony surface by the iron finger of their God, the God of the white people. Iron finger of our God, same is the meaning, means it is a biblical phrase, it is a biblical reference. Meaning is that this is the commandment, this incident is there in the written in the Bible in the form of commandment, and says that God has written the Christianity with his iron finger on the stony surface, so that the people should not, the means the follower of Christianity should not follow, should not forget the religion, or means because they will find the it written there on the stony surface. Okay. In this extract, children, the chief theatre says, "Your dad ceased to love you." The dead people of white people. The dead of white people have stopped loving them. Them means the white people, and the land of their nativity, and they have stopped loving of their native land. As soon as they pass the portals of the tomb, as soon as they enter their tomb, as soon as they die, they stop loving their country and their means grandchildren, great children, and wander way beyond the stars. And they start wandering beyond the stars. Means they forget the place where they had passed their lives. They are soon forgotten and never return. And in the same manner, the coming generation also, the means present generation of these people, these dead people, the dead people of whites, are also forgotten, and they never return. Means these people never return. Our dead never forget this beautiful world. And Chief Seattle says that the dead of Chief Seattle and the dead of his means people also never forget this beautiful world where they had got there, where they had passed their lives, that gave them being, where they had lived a life. They still love its verdant valleys, and they still love the verdant valley, means valleys, rivers, murmuring rivers, the magnificent mountains. So the chief setter says that the dead of his and his tribe continue loving the valleys, rivers, mountains, and wells, and means all the beautiful objects of nature. They continue loving these, and ever yearn its tender, fond affection over the lonely hearted living. So he says that they have a deep desire to come to enjoy, means they have a very passionate desire to continue love, to continue their love with their motherland, and often return from the happy hunting ground to visit, guide, console, and comfort them. And in these lines, the speaker says that the dead of the Red Indians, the dead of the Red Indians often, generally, returns to these places, to the place of their means where they had passed their lives. They just come to visit, guide, and console and comfort them, means the grandchildren, the coming generation of the Red Indians. Question number first is, why do the dead of the white men cease to love their land and their people? Cease means stop. So the answer is, question is, why do the white men stop loving their land and their people? Because they never connect with their land. They do not have any emotional touch with their motherland and with their people also. That's why as soon as they die, as soon as they enter their tomb, they forget their people and their motherland also. On the other hand, what do the dead of the red man do to their living? Means they continue the dead of red man. What do the dead of red man do? They keep visiting the place where they had lived a life. They continue their love for the place, for their coming generations, for their people. They have emotional touch with with their people, with their land, and that's why they keep visiting the place. What proposal was put forward to the red man by the great white chief? Question is, what was the proposal that was put forward by the white chief to the red man? And the proposal was that they should surrender or they should sell their land to the white chief. What is the impact of the proposal on the red man and the white man? Impact means effect. So the impact of the proposal on the red man was that the red man had to leave their ancestors' land. They had to sell the land of their ancestors to the white people, while the white men would get their land. Means the white men were going to get their land, and while the red men were going to lose their land. The land belonged to their ancestors. What role do the dead red men play for the living? Question is, what role do the dead red men play for the living? They spiritually they come and they come and visit and guide and console their living beings, their present generation. And how do the dead red men show that they are intimate part of nature? They just come to the valleys, rivers, mountains, and whales, etc. And they just mix. They spiritually they come. That's why we can say they are the intimate part of nature. Tribe follows tribe. Means after one race, there comes the next race. Nation follows nation. Then after a nation, there comes another nation. Like the waves of sea. As there are the waves in the sea, in the same manner, tribe is followed by another tribe. Nation is followed by another nation. So change is there in the nature. The speaker says, regret is useless. If we feel sorry, if we repent for what is not there in the world, that is useless, because everything in the world is going to be decayed. Everything in the world is surely to be ended. Your time of decay may be distant, but it will surely come. He says, the chief little says, that their last time can be far, can be distant, but it will surely be. For even the white man whose God walked and talked with him as friend to friend cannot be exempt from the common destiny. So he says, for the white man, whose God had walked and talked with him as a friend does with friend, means cannot be exempted. Means the white man will also have to die from the common destiny. Means they will also have to suffer the common means fortune. We may be brothers after all, we will see. We means we are simply made up of a same flesh, same bones. All things are same. So we will have the common destiny also. If the red Indians are the red Indians are dying today, they are reducing their number. The same thing will happen. The same thing will follow the white people also. How has the chief shown earlier that he is not happy about the fate of his people? The chief has shown earlier that he is not happy with the fate of his people, the Red Indian, the Native Americans, because they have to lose their land. Because the Red Indians, because the Native Americans have to lose their land, have to surrender, have to sell their lands to the white people. And also that is the Red Indians, the Native Americans are going to be extincted, means they are going to be finished. That's why the chief is not happy. Question number 2 is, what is the order of nature referred to by the chief? The order of nature referred to by the chief is, everything in the nature will come to its end. How does he hint that justice will be done at the end? He hints means points out, ishara karna. He hints that justice will be done at the end. He says, whatever the Red Indians are suffering from today, the same means from the same, the white man, the means colonists will have to suffer also. What is referred to by the white man, whose God walked and talked with him? What is referred? It is the reference of Bible. It is the reference from the Bible that and commandment, and that is means everything means it is a biblical reference. It is a reference from Bible that and commandment is there, which suffers that white men will also suffer from the same which they are suffering from, which the Red Indians, Native Americans are suffering from. It is the reference. Give the meaning and significance of, we may be brothers after all. Red Indians and white men, both are brothers after all, because both have been made up of what is human flesh, bones, blood. All these things are same there in Red Indians and in the white man also. Seattle suggests that the white man should be kind to his people. Means Seattle requests that a white man should be kind while dealing with the people, with his people. What could be the common destiny of man? It is death. Final destiny of man is death. Every man, whether Red Indians, Native Americans, or white people, or colonists, everyone will have the same destiny, that is death. Give the hints given in the extract to show that the chief foresees the unity of all human beings. Means the hints are, they both have the same flesh, bone, flesh, blood, they have the common things. Both will die one day, and whether Red Indians are there, whether white people are there, both will have to die one day. Now, except number next and last, in all the earth there is no place dedicated to solitude. Means the whole earth, at the whole earth there is no place dedicated to solitude. At night, when the streets of your cities and villages are silent, at night he says, when everything there, everything in the nature, everything in the world will be silent, you think they seem them deserted, and means common people will think that they have been deserted. They will throng with the returning host that once filled them. Means, when the people, red Indians, common people will think that it is all over, nobody is there, all the red Indians have been perished. But that time, the spiritually, it will be thronged, crowded, means with the returning host. Red Indians will come there at the same place in the form of spirits, once that once filled them and still love this beautiful land. They will come there and fill up these places because they will continue learning, means continue loving this beautiful land. The white man will never be alone. White man will never be alone. Physically, the red Indians will not be there in the world because they all will die. But spiritually, they will come again and again uh, to this world because they love this world. Explain why there is no place dedicated to solitude. Uh, there is no place dedicated to solitude because the Native Americans love their land, love their native land, and means in this way they make them immortal. They think themselves immortal, and they think that after death also, physical death also, they will come here again and again. When do the shadowy spirits visit the places? Shadowy spirits. When do the shadowy spirits come and visit these places? At night. Simple answer. When would the memory of the tribe be myth among the white men? Uh, Question is, when would the memory of the tribe be myth, an imaginary story? Means when the last red Indian would have perished. क्वेश्चन इज कि ये रेड इंडियंस की जो वो है मेमोरी है वो मिथ कब बन जाएगी, कथा कब बन जाएगी, कहानी कब बन जाएगी? तो जब लास्ट रेड इंडियन मैन जो है डेड हो जाएगा, मर जाएगा, उसके बाद उनकी जो है जो याद है वो सिंपल एक मिथ बन जाएगी. What is the attitude of the dead towards the objects of nature? Attitude of the dead towards the objects of nature is dead. Forget the world. Means they don't forget the world. The dead of red Indians do not forget the world where they had passed their lives. They love its valleys, rivers, mountains, etc. So they love all the beautiful things of nature of the world. That's why they don't forget it. Explain how does the speech of the chief reflect upon the theme of changing human life to another form. So we have to explain, हमें ये explain करना है कि किस प्रकार से चीफ की जो स्पीच है वो ह्यूमन लाइफ के चेंजिंग एस्पेक्ट को व्यक्त करती है. We are to tell in this question how does the speech of chief tell the theme of changing human life, and means after physical death, after death of a person, life of man changes its form. Physically he dies, but spiritually he lives. So the form changes. Give two examples to show that the speech is a mouthpiece of any mystic philosophy, and we are to tell the two examples how this story is a mouthpiece of a particular philosophy. Nature means Native Americans would be transported to a reality beyond what is felt by senses. Listen, the writer here says that Native Americans will die because they are reducing in number. One day they will die and they will be extincted, but spiritually they will come. Their presence will not be felt uh, through senses. They will become eternal, the part of their uh, land. Means spiritually they will come, they will stay there with the white people, they will not leave their world, they will not leave their land, and spiritually they will come and stay there. That's why a particular philosophy has been given there by the chief Seattle while saying that uh, they would come especially there where they were born. Children, I hope you could have understood each and every question, although you have already written the answers there in your workbook. Still, if you are asked to write the answer in your own words, you can get the hint from the contents which I have said. You can write, I can get more matter from the workbook, from the textbook uh, of your miss of yours, but should try to write the answer in your should learn how to write the answer in your own words. Thank you.